Amplify's ETF Watch. This week, we're talking about two new ETFs we've launched that write covered calls on the cryptocurrency Ethereum. The Amplify Ethereum 3% monthly option income ETF and the Amplify Ethereum max income covered call ETF. So stick around as we learn more about Ethereum and understand these unique ETFs for income investors. So what is Ethereum? Ethereum is the second largest cryptocurrency behind Bitcoin in terms of market capitalization. Bitcoin, however, is more of a store of value, where Ethereum is a technology. Ether, the underlying cryptocurrency on the Ethereum blockchain, powers transactions, smart contracts, and decentralized applications. You may have heard of Ethereum this year because of all the legislation happening with stablecoins. Ethereum is really the rails that stablecoins will be built on. This is a key technology and cryptocurrency that offers some very attractive investment characteristics. Let's get into them. First, from a diversification standpoint, Ethereum has a relatively low correlation to many asset classes, including the S&P 500, with a 0.25 correlation to the S&P 500 since 2017. Secondly, volatility is there for Ethereum. In fact, since 2017, Ethereum is 5 times more volatile than the S&P 500. This compares to Bitcoin being 4 times more volatile than the S&P 500. So there you have it. Diversification as well as volatility makes Ethereum a great asset to implement a covered call income strategy on. So let's take a look at how the Amplify Ethereum 3% monthly option income ETF actually works. First, the ETF buys long exposure to Ether through Ethereum ETPs and options. Remember, this ETF targets a 36% annual premium income. Thus, it sells weekly calls on a portion of the portfolio, which are somewhere between 5 to 10% out of the money, to target this 36 annual option premium income while providing upside potential. On a weekly basis, expiring covered call options are rolled to help generate ongoing option premiums. Finally, this ETF distributes income on a monthly basis. Now let's take a look at the Amplify Ethereum Max Income Covered Call ETF as it functions differently. First, we buy long exposure to Ether through Ether ETPs and options. Then we sell weekly calls on all of the portfolio, 5 to 10% out of the money, to maximize income, yet still provide 5 to 10% Ether price upside potential on a weekly basis. Then, each week, we're rolling to replace expiring covered call options with new ones. Finally, like the majority of Amplify income ETFs, we're paying distributions on a monthly basis. And remember, increased priced volatility provides the opportunity for increased option income potential, a great fit for Ethereum in a covered call ETF structure. So for access to Ethereum's upside potential, as well as to harvest income along the way, check out Amplify's Ethereum covered call ETFs, which join our Bitcoin covered call ETFs as part of a growing family at Amplify. Thanks for watching. This is Christian Magoon for Amplify's ETF Watch.